Hello and welcome back to Stop and Go F1 on what is a wonderful day if your name is Oscar Piastri. Let's get in to the sprint race, and just like the sprint shootout, we have had another big old delay, this time about 35 minutes worth of delay, because for some reason we delayed the start of the sprint race anyway, because for whatever reason we've got to have 2 hours between qualifying and the race, for whatever reason. We could have had the race within those 2 hours and then not had a delay, but instead we had 2 delays, which is great. Yet again, FIA probably do make wet weather tyres, full wet weather tyres, and they haul them around the world. Just, want to put that into context. Every race, the wet weather tyres get taken. Okay. Anyway, speaking of the wet weather tyres, everyone is forced to start on them. But yeah, the track was ready for inters because we waited that long. But the rules say you have to go on that. So it's going to be a big mess because everyone has to pit. But we're going to have the formation lap, then 4 more formation laps, which also take away from... basically the first 4 races of the race were behind the safety car, but it wasn't the first 4 laps of the race because they don't actually count. We just take 4 laps off the race total, and they're not racing laps. They're different things, and then we have a rolling start. I mean, that's entertainment. That's what the people want to see. That's what I pay Sky 30 quid or whatever it is to see. So, the race actually starts, and it's cut down to 12 laps, and instantly away from into the pit lane, we have Piastri, Gasly, Hamilton, Perez, Ricciardo, Albon, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Stroll, and Sainz. Everyone else staying on the wets, these lot all going on the inters. It seemed to be whoever was the leading driver of each team came in, apart from Red Bull, who left Verstappen out on the first lap, and brought Perez in. Mainly just to kind of make sure, because their pit lane is first, their pit box is first, so they would have had the longest wait. So it kind of makes sense for him to go out and do an entire lap. So we have half the grid on wets, half the grid on inters. And if you want to know how much faster the inters are than the wets, Oscar Piastri, who was in the lead of the inter group, caught the back of the wet group and overtook Zhou. So that's how much faster the inters actually are. Then at the end of lap 1, everyone else pits. Max made an incredible lead, by the way. On that one lap, he was 4 seconds ahead of Leclerc after the first lap. I don't know how he did it, but he did. So 4 seconds ahead, very good pit stop, but Piastri still manages to take the lead due to the pace of those inter tyres. Everyone now has pitted, and we're going to have this little battle here between Max and Piastri when we cut to a stranded Aston Martin in a gravel trap hitting a wall, and we all scream, "No, Lance Stroll!" But it turns out it wasn't Lance Stroll, it was actually Fernando Alonso. He was going after a Haas, and I don't know if he hit the white line, or outbraked himself, or just spun or what, but it was a very uncharacteristic mistake for Fernando Alonso, who spins and ends up in the gravel on lap 4. And off the safety car restart, Max Verstappen basically instantly takes the lead, goes up through Eau Rouge, onto the Camel Straight. He's basically side by side as it starts to straighten out, and he is away taking the lead. There is a 5-second penalty for Logan Sargent, who was speeding in the pit lane, and then we get a battle between Hamilton and Perez, where they're side by side. They make contact going through the corner. This puts a hole in the side of Perez's car, who just falls back. So Lewis gets past Perez, then Sainz gets past Perez, then Leclerc gets past Perez, and he went from P4 to P7 in 4 corners. Then he just went off the track fully into the gravel, managed to keep it going, but then would end up down in P17, and he would eventually retire the car. Hamilton will get a 5-second penalty for causing this collision, and you can argue about that in the comments, because I really don't care. And that was really the end of the eventfulness of the sprint race. It seemed like much more action was going on than I've written down, but honestly I can't think of anything else. Oscar Piastri came home in second. Max Verstappen won, obviously. Pierre Gasly, an incredible third place for Pierre Gasly. Very happy with that one. Then it was Sainz in fourth. Leclerc was fifth. Norris sixth. Lewis Hamilton comes home in 7th after the 5-second penalty. Then George Russell completes the top 8 of point scorers. Daniel Ricciardo just in P9, just missing out. I think overall it was an enjoyable sprint race. I do quite like the sprint races. I'm in the kind of minority of people who enjoy the sprint races. But overall, I think just having to wait so long, then having to watch the safety car go round, and then having another safety car for Alonso's incident, it's just not good. The FIA need to sort out this wet weather fear of theirs because it's ruining the sport. Especially the last few weeks, we've had a lot of wet weather racing, and it's just every single time, it's just delay, 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 sit around, do nothing, delay, 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 lap behind a safety car, lap behind a safety car, lap behind a safety car. And you know, it's like people are paying good money to go and attend these races. People are paying good money to pay Sky's stupidly high fees to watch these races. And it's just like, we've got to do something better here. We can't have a full wet weather tyre that is so useless so that like the intermediate tyre can lap it in heavy water. It's just, then they need to sort this out because it's not acceptable for the fans. It's awful. Awful stuff from F1, but overall I think this race was okay. I can't wait for tomorrow where it's probably going to be another wet race and more delay and more laps behind the safety car. Ooh, yes, we do have fun here. But overall, there was some positive takes from this. Firstly, Gasly, great result for him. Piastri, another great result for him in that rookie year, which is, he's saying it was something like the first rookie to lead a race since Esteban Gutierrez, I think someone said. And my answer to that was, Gutierrez led a race? How the hell did that happen? But yes, here we are, Oscar Piastri, doing great. So, as I said, we'll be back tomorrow for the F1, the F2, and the F3. We'll also have the driver ratings on Monday. And then the Hungary Travel F1 Grand Prix vlog on Tuesday. So make sure you subscribe for all that. There'll be no delays here. We're right on time, all the time. Make sure you subscribe. I'll see you next time. Let me know what you thought of this sprint race. Were you as disappointed as I was due to the FIA's fear of water falling from the sky? Until next time, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm running out of things to say. Goodbye!